Let's talk truth now with three conservative voices. Rich Galen is a veteran GOP strategist and one-time Gingrich ally. Our contributor, Erickson, is the editor of RedState.com. And Joe Miller, you might remember him, a Tea Party activist and the former U.S. Senate candidate from Alaska. Welcome all the way to Washington, D.C. Let's start, and I want to listen to a little bit more of Governor Romney, his take. This is the big test for him today. Three big setbacks in the last week, a conservative movement that's unsure, if not opposed. He says, pick me.
This election really is about a battle for the soul of America. And it's going to come down to a choice. A choice between whether we want a nation to be of and by Washington or a nation of and by a free people. And we conservatives believe in freedom and free people and free enterprises.
Now, when you ran against Lisa Murkowski in Alaska, you were criticizing her. Too much time in Washington, all the habits of Washington. Governor Romney there was trying to say, Speaker Gingrich, Senator Santorum, you're going to get more Washington. I'm not sure what a severe conservative is. Maybe you can help me. But how'd that go?
Well, I don't think it went over very well. In fact, if we're looking for a severely conservative governor, and we look at that record, it's obviously not what conservatives are looking for. And frankly, in 2012, in November, in order to win that race, it's going to require that core base of conservatives that already are reflecting a lack of enthusiasm. I think it's in part because of what they aren't hearing, particularly from Governor Romney. And that is that, look, this country is in severe financial crisis. We've got to get the fiscal house in order. We got to get D.C. out of these areas that it shouldn't be in, get back to the Constitution. Without that core base, people are going to stay home, and we aren't going to win the White House in November. So I encourage all of the three candidates that are standing against Romney. I think that they offer fine ideas. They all offer fine fiscal packages. But what we see and what we heard today at CPAC is rhetoric. It's not reflective, I think, of a real true conservative voice. And I think what this nation needs at this point in time is somebody that has a radical idea about D.C., getting it back to its foundations.
And so, Eric, coming into that room, Governor Romney could win the room. Don't think anybody at the table agrees he did today. He also could hurt himself more. If he broke even, maybe not so bad. What's your calculation?
I would be charitable and say he broke even, but I think the soundbite it's the one ad-libbed remark he made during the day that I'm a severely conservative Republican governor. Rush Limbaugh has already come out and say severe conservative, that's something liberals say about conservatives, not something conservatives say about conservatives. If that plays over the weekend without him trying to walk that back, he may have problems come Monday when talk radio gets going again with the conservative base that tunes into talk radio.
Is it a big problem to ad-lib a line like that, or is it people who are already predisposed to not like or support Governor Romney who will grab anything he says and thump him with?
I think that's a big part of it. Because if what Santorum said about a hollow victory in November, winning the presidency is, I'll take a hollow victory if we can win the presidency. I think most of us would take that no matter how big the hole might be. But I do think that, I'd agree with Eric, I think playing to a draw today for Governor Romney was fine. That's really all he needed. And you know, if Rush wants to jump on the severe line, that's fine. That keeps everybody happy.
Well, Senator Santorum walks in with a lot of energy.
Right.
And I want to show you first a tweet from his communications director, Hogan Gidley. He says, breaking, at Rick Santorum, campaign, 3 states, 3 wins, 3 days, $3 million. Today is third consecutive $1 million day. CPAC, game on. Momentum. No question. Santorum has it. So he comes into this room of conservatives, activists from all around the country, most of them from states that have yet to vote it, and he's very aggressive, saying, look at Mitt Romney, and this is what you got.
Who has a record of supporting health savings accounts and tort reform and bottom-up consumer-driven health care for 20 years? And who has supported, in fact, the stepchild of Obamacare, the person in Massachusetts who built the largest government-run healthcare system in the United States, someone who would simply give that issue away in the fall?
Eric, we talked about this some time ago. The healthcare issue kind of disappeared for a while. In the very early debates, it was where Speaker Gingrich, Senator Santorum, and we had a bigger crowd then, people went after Governor Romney. How successful is he using that argument to make the case, not him, look at me?
Oh, I think he's using it very successfully, and in fact, his campaign thinks he's using it very successfully. They've been hitting on that core issue. If you remember, go back to the CNN debate in Jacksonville. He threw that line out against Mitt Romney on felons voting, and it went well with the crowd. But everyone kind of scratched their heads, why are you doing this? It threw Romney off of his game, and he immediately came back and completely threw Romney off with his health care issue. He's been hitting it ever since. It has really, really worked to solidify the base for him.
And so if you go to Tea Party activists who had the energy in the party in 2010, the Obama health care plan was part of the energy. Now, a lot of it was anger at Republicans for spending too much money in Washington. It wasn't all about Obama. But does that issue, when they look at Rick Santorum and they say, yes, 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 but the question has been, do they think he can win?
Well, I think also the question is, where has he been in the past? Has he been part of the problem? Has he acknowledged that? I think in fact, I talked to Senator Santorum today. I think that his fiscal plan, a lot of people don't know about it, $5 trillion in 4 years. I mean, that's real cuts. And that's what that Tea Party base is looking for.
Well, let me just say this. If that clip counts as people falling down in the aisles, thrilled with what they heard, I heard like one guy in the back with a flag clapping. I mean, that was dreadful. He stepped on his own applause lines. He's a better candidate than that clip showed.
Yeah, he is. And the problem here is talking to a lot of people at CPAC is they're just not enthused about any of the three candidates right now. That their heart's with Santorum, but they don't know that he can win. They don't trust Mitt Romney. They don't trust Newt Gingrich to not implode
Yeah, this
from a
being a
general
grown-up
election.
is really hard, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it is.
Well, I think part of the reason why is because of the way that the campaign has been conducted at this point. I mean, we've got one candidate with all the money, basically, that is burning down the House if he doesn't win. And I don't think that is the way to approach this. It's obviously going to hurt whatever candidate ends up being the nominee come November. But I think at the core, people have got to get back to the base. If they don't, they're going to lose it in November. People are going to stay
I
home.
don't think
Joe
that's
Miller,
at all
Erick
right.
Erickson.
I think that's entirely wrong.
Okay, well, we'll continue the conversation another day. And remember, Maine caucuses tomorrow night. The all-important Maine caucuses.
It's been
will be
going
here
on for a
with
week.
those tomorrow night.